Yeah, we saw all those craft beers coming into the marketplace and craft breweries, and we loved that. Everywhere I traveled, I would say, hey, do you have a local brewery? I want to try it. I want to see what they're doing. And I think we wanted to be a part of that. We were inspired by that. We didn't want to be beer. We wanted to be different, and we came up with this idea of spirits. And it was one of those where I remember asking Dave, do you want to make gin? Do you want to make bourbon right here in Columbus? And he was like, sounds cool, but it's probably illegal.
It's a company two guys started kind of on a whim. Got sick and tired of the corporate world. That typical story, I think. 10 years in it, and just looking for something more. We wanted to do something community-oriented. We're both from the Columbus area. Wanted to bring something that was fun. You know, I came from a background of selling toilets, so not so much fun. And just wanted to kind of do something that was very Columbus focused, that brought a little bit of lighter edge to what we were doing in the corporate world, and could bring kind of the community together and have something that they're proud of.
And you look at why we started it, to be involved in the community and to exist in that community. And you think about a watershed, and if you're in the watershed, everything you do affects the water and everything in that watershed, just like the community. And so there's a lot of synergies there, and so we're exploring building the brand around this greater community of a watershed.
Ohio actually is probably one of the worst states to start a distillery as far as the laws go. But great source of corn, great source of grain right here in Ohio. So while the laws aren't necessarily the best in the world, the grains, the fruits, all that kind of stuff that grows so well in Ohio, just said, you know, why wouldn't we start something like this?
So when it came time and we had this idea, hey, let's make gin, hey, let's make bourbon, we wrote a business plan pretty quick. We put it together. We thought it would take a year or so to raise money. We had our full-time jobs, and so it wasn't scary. It was a fun hobby that we were doing. And then we were taking classes around the U.S. to study distilling. And then we were, you know, researching all kinds of stuff, equipment, techniques. And pretty soon we had this really good business plan. And I remember we thought it would take a year or so to raise money. And we went out, and I think it was 2 months later, it was something crazy. We had all the money in the bank to start the business. And so I say it snuck up on me. That's when it got scary.
I go back to like our first 2 weeks in sales, and we struggled a little bit because we were coming from businesses we knew and partnerships that we knew, and kind of went into this bar restaurant world where we didn't know anyone. They'd say, you know, well, where else are you guys at? And we're like, 2 weeks old, man. We're nowhere. We're nowhere. So I remember we got a call from the beverage director, John Pogemeyer at Hyde Park Restaurants, second weekend. He played this little game with his dad that lives out on the West Coast, and they traded a bottle of booze or a bottle of wine every month. And he sent his dad our 4-peel gin, and Dad absolutely loved it. So he called us up to his office in Cleveland, and we sat down with him. He's like, I'm going to put you guys on the front page of our cocktail list in all of our restaurants.
Right now, there's still a ton of business in Ohio, and there's a lot of people that want our stuff in Ohio, so we're working really hard to get our products to the people in Ohio. And still, it's over 90% of our business is here.
There's all kinds of different stuff that's going on here in Columbus, but as far as entrepreneurial spirit, I've just never seen anything more impressive than the last 5 to 10 years in Columbus, Ohio. I just think people are willing to take the risk. People are willing to support those that are taking the risk, and it's just been huge. We couldn't do it without all the people that, you know, support local. I mean, we are truly local guys that produce local products, buy local things, and then turn them into spirits that people enjoy. Even though I love it here, I think we were really lucky to be in a place like this where they care about the community and they want to see that homegrown story. You look at so many other companies that started here and have done well, and people love to celebrate that. And so I think what we're finding is local is good and small batch is good, but there's more to what we're about, and that's where the community side comes in. That's where our story and kind of how we were inspired by the people of Columbus to do this, I think all that comes in. And so we're trying to really figure out what that means to us and what that means to Watershed. You know, what's next for Watershed is kind of where we're at right now. You know, we've gotten to a certain size, and and it feels good, but you know, how do you get to that next level? And so that's what we're trying to figure out.